Hey YouTube, coming at you a team that a subscriber recommended in the comments, and it is smart, balanced, and covers the meta. So thank you for this submission here. It is a Ninetales, Dunsparce, and Lantern. So it's sort of a take. I already gone over a Ninetales and Swampert, basically cover each other's weaknesses all the way down. Lantern is basically the same sort of thing, but you now pick up, you win a couple, lose a couple. You a little harder on like G-Fisk and Bastiodon, but way better on the Owl. What I like about this team is all three beat the Owl. You have Ninetales and Dunsparce that could be Trevenant. You have Dunsparce and Lantern that can deal with Registeel and Galarian Stunfisk and Bastiodon. You have all three that deal with the Owl. You have a Ninetales and Lantern that can sort of deal with Metachamp. So like super smart coverage all around. Yeah, and it worked out very, very well. So it's a team that if you want to sort of grind ELO, I think this is a smart team. Okay, so this one's just, so I've played, how do you play out all these matchups? So I have played out, a lot of people are using Ninetales now. I saw a few Shadow with Charm on the lead. And if that's the case, Dunsparce is your safe swap. I went CMP there and I got the Dazzling Gleam off and let that through. So this is an easy shield because now they are 100% within Weather Ball range. So I can build up a little bit, throw right before, and I know I went CMP too, so I probably could have thrown right on, but this will take it out, which is great. And out comes Swampert. So the backline, I must say, the backline is a bit weak to Swampert. That is what I noticed when playing with this team. Overall, well-rounded, but Swampert in the back is tough because Dunsparce's rollouts are resisted, and it still takes a couple draw runs, and they're just going to outpace you to the Hydros. And then obviously Lantern has a really bad matchup. Multiple serves to take out the Swampert as opposed to just one Earthquake, which will boom, right? So come in here, and then this is where sort of Dunsparce is good, but not amazing. So Dunsparce is your answer to Trevenant because all the claws are resisted, right? Shadow Claw and the Shadow Ball are resisted. The problem is rollout is such a bad, I really hope they buff rollout a bit because I think it would also make other Pokemon a little more relevant. Rollout is just such a bad move. It does like no damage. It's supposed to be sort of like a energy generating, but it doesn't generate energy anywhere as fast as like lock on, and it's still, I don't know the exact stats, but like it basically does like lock on damage. It's so bad. Rollout, so I hope they buff rollout. I expected them to try and come in here and snipe with that, so heads up play there, taking this out because I know that they are still within two. The thing with Lantern matchup here is it still takes 2 Seed Bombs to take me out. So they're going to need to get to at least 10 claws. And by that point, these Thunderbolts are adding up. So they're going to get 1 off here. And I think I have some energy stored. So I think they need to like build up energy. And I think if I remember this matchup, I get to 2 Thunderbolts before they throw here. Yeah, they try to claw down as their win condition, but not happening. Lantern, Dunsparce taking out Trevenant and Swampert down 2v1. I guess Swampert was basically done. So here we go. Great lead. I should be in Dunsparce way sooner here. Again, licks are resisted, so you need to make that switch immediately. That's something, there's 2 things there. That's something that a person who is much better than me will make that switch instantaneously. 2, it's something that if you practice with a team, if you like use a team more than like a 1 to 2 sets like I use a team, you'll learn those matchups and you'll know easier when to switch and not. It's actually pretty difficult, and why I'm struggling this season is because I haven't found my go-to team yet. I think this is the closest thing to a go-to team I have found this season for Great League. So thank you for this mission. I think it's balanced. I think it covers the meta. I think it's overall pretty strong. I'm sure I'll talk about Metacham in a second because that is a little tricky at times. So I'll talk about that when it comes up. But overall, I think this is like well balanced. But yeah, I still haven't found like this team is gonna help me grind 2 to 300 ELO. So I'm just gonna stick with it for more than like 2 sets. I've also just kind of bring you guys a lot of teams too. So like I need to like play 2 sets to get the matches, and then try a new one, right? So that's why I'm struggling way more than I usually do. And then G-Fisk. G-Fisk is tricky. So the good news is this is why you kind of run Powder Snow, because Powder Snow Weather Ball is going to chip pretty well here. The rock slides do hurt, obviously, but all I need to do is get this within surf range, which is now it's in within surf range. I'm just basically going to sacrifice this because I think that between the spark and surf, I will take this out quite easy, and then hopefully it can handle what's in the back. Still chipping here. I think I'm just going to try and force them to throw because I know that, I was about to say, I think I'm just trying to force them to throw here because I know they're loaded with energy. I don't want to play the bait game with them. So force them to throw. And oh yeah, they have the owl in the front, and I have 3 answers, so screw you, owl. If this is a charm, you gotta bail into Dunsparce, and it is, right? So I think I lend this too. So I think I threw one here. I play this matchup a few ways. I think I've played one this, and if they let it go, it's okay, and they do, but it's still not okay because like they're definitely at like Psyshock, or Weather Ball probably is gonna. Yeah, they're at Psyshock already, so I'm still gonna lose this. So I think going into Dunsparce is the answer. Like I'll come out low with energy here, but now I got to worry about like a Medicham in the back, which is going to hurt. And that's kind of what I was worried about because A9 Medi is like a pretty good core as well. So I'll get 1 off here, but now I've got to rely on this, and we'll have to see what's in the back. And Medi's just like kind of a cheat code in this meta, but I go for the bait here, which ended up, I think, was not the right play. I think I should have just Thunderbolted and Spark down, because now I still have to throw another Surf. If they shield, they can get a Psychic off. Yeah, so they're going to get a Psychic off, and it's going to put me pretty low, so I'm going to have to now shield. They do go straight Psychic, so now I can maybe farm. Oh, and it's a Gliscor, so this is good as long as they don't get to the Earthquake before I get to double Surfs. And I think I can get to double Surfs before they do that. I'm pretty sure that's only a Night Slash, which is not going to be enough by any means necessary. And this Surf is going to do a lot, and then I'll probably bail into Dunsparce just to finish this off. Again, Night Slash not going to be enough. This is why people kind of swear by Gliscor. And I get it, you have the Earthquake, plus you got Night Slashes for like Trevenant and stuff like that, but in matchups where you know you can't get to the Earthquake, it just seems like a liability, right? Like they can get to the Earthquake on Lantern, and Night Slashes you don't need to respect. Non-stab. Charizard lead here. I'm going straight Dunsparce. I don't think you need to. Oh god. Shadow Machamp, Shadow Charizard. This is ugly. But this is probably going to show the weakness of A9 to a certain extent. A9 being half Ice, half Fairy, has a very uncomfortable matchup with Medicham, and as you're probably going to see here, Machamp, because look at those counters adding up. Again, this is Shadow Machamp, so it makes sense that it's adding up. But it really adds up. If you're against a Medicham, Medicham, they get to the Psychic. Neutral counters get to a Psychic before you get to a Dazzling Gleam. So then it's like a bait game. And if they either call your bait correctly or they shield a Dazzling Gleam, then you're like, it's like it's not a good matchup. It can very quickly turn. And when your Dunsparce is so weak with resisted rollouts and only non-stab drill runs, and Lantern's kind of like a evenish matchup, if you get like a Medicham in there that shields properly or lands a Psychic or like baits with Power Punch, you're going to lose, and it's going to be a pretty rough situation. So that's the only sort of drawback to this team that I really noticed is when we got to like Medicham that would like ramp up or did well with the energy. But overall, super strong team. I think this one, maybe the one I bail. Shadow Charm is so tough. Yeah, so this one I bail, but I'm probably going to bail right into a Medicham. They are not leaving, which is good for me because now I'm just 1. It's going to do great damage. 2, burn the Switch Clocked. So that, yeah, they're going to shield Swampert. So Swampert is just as bad, right? Hydro is going to do a ton here. Yeah, so Swampert and Medicham are the 2 And so it's going to take 3 drill runs, right? Because, again, roll out is doing absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it's going to take 3 drill runs to take this out. Even if this doesn't take me out, they can just like farm down and come out with 100 energy. And then Ninetales and Lantern are both going to have problems here. So yeah, Swampert, Medicham. 2 sort of big issues on this team. I'll have to shield 1 and take 1, which is not a great situation to be in, but that is what we're going to have to do here. Go for full farm. Okay, they should have got a second one. I don't know why they didn't get a second one off there. Because they should have easily got a second one off there. But yeah, so those are the 2 sort of weaknesses with the team that I noticed. But otherwise, it's strong. Like, it's strong for the meta. Maybe there's some like off Pokemon that I'm not thinking about that comes out once in a while. But like for the main meta, it's pretty good. What you could also do is, I wouldn't hate going Water Gun Lantern here, right? Because what that would do is, well, it would, one, make you a little weak to Lantern in general, but like between Dazzling Gleam and Drill Runs should be okay. But what that would do is make G-Fisk better, like G-Fisk Bastiodon, that Ninetales has problems with, and it probably would make you better against. I want to actually just see what that looks like against Swampert and Medicham. So we'll go Great League meta, and we'll go Lantern with Spark, and we will go Lantern with Water Gun. And we will sim this. Okay. Okay, so Bastiodon actually does not change any. So you lose the yeah, you end up losing the Lantern matchup, which is not surprising. And you're a bit weaker against like Mandibuzz and stuff like that. Okay, actually, you actually lose the Medicham matchup now instead of winning it. But there it is. You do pick up Registeel. And you pick up Stunfisk. And where's my Swampert here? It says you do worse against Swampert. So there's your trade-off with the 2. Yeah, and you're going to lose the Walrein, but I haven't seen many of those. So technically it's on paper worse in terms of average and wins, but I've seen Water Gun used before. It just depends on what you're seeing. Like if the fact that it flips Stunfisk and flips Registeel is pretty big in my opinion, because you still have your Owl coverage. And Medicham says you lose now. Yeah, but that's baiting an Ice Punch. Let me see in the Zero Shield, and let me see if they don't bait an Ice Punch. So in the Zero Shield, you lose 26, which is fine. 26 HP left is not a lot. Let's say if you properly shield a Psychic, you're still going to lose. They can go straight Psychic and beat you, as opposed to Spark. So trade-off there. I've always used Spark. I kind of want to use Water Gun on a team where you like. Well, it's not like you can draw. I was about to say like an EB stealth team, but you can't draw out a G-Fisk because you may draw out a Trevenant, and that would make it much worse. So I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, it is one Pokemon that is super strong in the meta. Ninetales I think is strong. You just obviously need to cover like your Registeel and Bastiodon weaknesses that you just like get destroyed by. Dunsparce, I'm so hidden. The thing is, Dunsparce sort of makes this team, right? It provides you the coverage on almost everything, right? It provides you the coverage on Registeel, it provides you the coverage on Bastiodon, Lantern, the Owl. So like, in theory, it's great. I hate using it. I hate the move Rollout. That does nothing. I think I actually hated it immediately because I was in a matchup probably on the first day that rollout came out, and I tested it, and I was against a Frostlass, and I think I lost to the Frost. I don't know if I lost to the Frostlass, but it was like I took like multiple rock slides plus rollouts, and the rollouts like couldn't even take it out. I think I needed a third rock slide. Like it was just, I don't know if that makes sense, but again, I think rollout really needs a buff. I think rollout really needs a buff. Going straight farm down here. Coming out loaded energy. This a Pelipper would make this. Instead of doing double super effective with sparks, you're now doing resisted with water. So that is obviously a huge trade-off too. So I don't know if water gun is better in the long run, but it is a good option depending on what you want coverage for. Anyways, thank you for the recommendation. Like the team, like I said, I think it's balanced. I think it's one of the best teams. It's balanced. It does well against the meta. It's got me probably the best run of ELO gains I've had this season, so definitely one worth trying if you're looking for team ideas. So appreciate the thumbs up and comments. Any other team suggestions you have in the comments below, let me know. I've got a lot of Pokemon built up, so I can definitely try them out. And that is it. I'll see you guys in the next one.